All right, guys, welcome to the second episode of Bow Hunting Soul. Thank you for joining in. Today, we're going to review this baby right here, the Bear 59 Kodiak. Just to get a better view here. Now, you're going to hear me say this thing's gorgeous probably, I don't know, a dozen times, probably more. So this isn't going to be a review of, just regular specs and things like that everyone else, seems to do. You can look a lot of that stuff up. I'll gloss over that kind of stuff. However, I'm kind of going to go into a little bit of a review on why this bow is so good, why this bow was actually, I wouldn't say groundbreaking, but almost groundbreaking for bear archery. This was originally introduced in 1959. They had Kodiaks before. They had like a Kodiak Special, Kodiak something else, whatever. Kodiak Deluxe. They had like dual shelf models. But when they came out with this, the 59, it kind of blew everybody away because it was a pure hunting bow. This is an AMO of 60 inch. And I think they measure AMO unstrung and they kind of go down, and then they measure all the way up over here. I think that's how they measure AMO. But this was meant to be a pure hunting bow. Fred Bear never really babied his bows. He didn't want anybody else to baby his bows. There's videos of him walking into camp, tossing the bow on the ground or whatever. I'm not going to do that. This thing is just too beautiful. In 2014, Bear decided to reissue the 59 Kodiak. I believe they call it the 59er or the 59 Kodiak or just Kodiak. I'll have a link below where you can actually look this up and buy one for yourself. They're in high demand. They're very, very hard to keep in stock. It's just a gorgeous bow. You've got this beautiful caramel colored glass. Sorry, I should have polished this off a little bit, but it's a beautiful, beautiful glass, and a brown glass on the outside. I mean, the work on this, obviously I shoot this bow. So this leather grip over here, has got some hand grub on it, whatever. But I believe it's deer skin. Just look at the finish on that. It's just gorgeous. This particular one is 40 pound at 28 inch, and that's my draw. I draw 28 and a quarter. I have a brace height of about 8 inches, and I actually have a pretty high knock height on this thing. I tend to have a pretty high knock height because I tend to have a pretty low wrist. I tend to do one of these instead of one of these. Okay, that's exaggerated, but tend to do one of these in there. So in order to get good flight, what I actually end up having to do is have my knock height pretty high. I'm at 7/8 of an inch on here. A lot of guys won't have it that high. What I've also done, however, is if you look right in here, pop this off. If you look right here, that little guy right there, well, that's a chopstick. It's the end of a chopstick. The way this comes, this actually comes with like a feather rest. I hate the thing. It looks ugly. I don't like it. Some people love it. Some people think it looks classy. Not me. I'm sorry. I don't like it. Plus, the shelf isn't very wide on this thing, and it's very, very flat this way. It's very, very flat like that. A lot of newer bows that are coming out, recurves, longbows, whatever, they're more curved. Okay, this is more radiused, so that the arrow actually sits and balances just on one little point up there, so you have very little influence if you torque the bow at the shot or something like that, that you're not imparting that onto the arrow as it's going. So in order to rectify that, what I do on a lot of my bows, I've got a side plate over here, which is the Bear leather side plate, and I've got, if I click that in here, okay, you can see that it elevates that arrow right onto that point right there. Okay, because it elevates that, it only hits on one spot, and then when I draw back, I've got a clicker on it. When I draw back, okay, and I let go, it's only on that one point. So that helps with tuning for me. And again, for me, I have a very low wrist, so it tends to do this to the bow. Otherwise, my Bear shafts tend to fly, like 2 knock low, or actually what it'll do is it'll come and it'll bounce off the shelf. It'll kind of come like this, and then the back end will bounce off the shelf and do that and give like a false knock high flight reading. So if I actually raise the knock height, okay, which can be tricky, you need to kind of tune some of this stuff and understand the tuning of why it does what it does. If you raise the knock height a little bit, then it's you know, the back of the arrow is not bouncing off the back of the shelf, okay, and you're getting cleaner flight. We'll get into tuning and stuff in other episodes. Going back to this bow, why is this bow significant? Well, this bow, as opposed to a lot of other recurves, is kind of like, it's got longbowish qualities. Now, what does that mean? A longbow has skinny limbs this way, okay? So it'd almost be like this skinny, but they're thick in this dimension, skinny in this dimension. Whereas other recurves, here's my Bear Grizzly, I'll have a review on this one too, on this bow too, is actually wide. It's a wide limb, but skinny, okay? So you put these two side by side, especially out near over here, it's kind of, I mean, it's nothing drastic, but this 59 Kodiak is certainly skinnier than this. Now, why is that? Why is that significant? Well, longbow limbs tend to torque less, okay? Like in this direction. Okay, there's a lot going on with the recurve. You got this, you got the curve part over here, you got over here. I mean, everything's flexing in all bunch of directions. So when you actually pull back, okay, with the recurve limb, you can actually have, if you don't have a clean release, if you're torquing or for other factors, whatever, you can actually twist that limb. And twisting the limb changes the way the string travels as it's going forward. Kind of like in a compound where you have lateral knock travel, vertical knock travel, same kind of idea, okay? By the way, if you want another kind of version of explanation of this, Jeff Kavanaugh, his YouTube channel has a great review on the 59 Kodiak, and he shoots this thing better than I've seen anybody shoot it, so go check that out too. The guy is, he's pretty incredible to watch, so he's kind of got an explanation about the limb stuff too. But anyway, going back to the longbow. Longbows don't have that kind of stuff. Longbows are skinny, but they're thick. So they don't have that torquing side to side. They just kind of go forward. Kind of like if you were to go to Home Depot, Lowe's, what have you, whatever your box store of choice is, and you go to the 2x4 section. You buy a 2x4, I don't care how long, this long, whatever. You can't really twist it. It's pretty thick. It's not that wide, you know, as far as lumber goes, but you can't really twist it. Go down the other aisle to where the fascia boards are or the cedar boards are, and you got like the 1x10s, okay, which is, you know, like cedar planking or whatever. It's 10 inches wide, but it's really thin, okay? It's thinner than a 2x4. It's wider than a 2x4. Well, that would be like a recurve limb. You grab that thing, and I bet you could twist, okay? You could twist that board. With a 2x4, you're not going to twist it, okay? So what's significant, I don't know if it's significant enough, but it certainly helps. This is kind of like longbow-ish in terms of how skinny it is, less prone to twisting, but you still get the speed of a recurve. Generally, I'm generalizing, generally recurves are going to be faster than a longbow. There's everything from the Howard Hill style D-shaped American semi-longbow to recurves, and everything in between, like hybrid, reflex, deflex, you know, whatever. But in generally speaking, you've got a longbow that is a little more solid as far as and more predictable as far as like the limb travel, and then you've got a recurve that's probably faster, but it's you know, some, again, depends on the bow, depends on the fit, okay. It's just gonna how it suits the archer. So you got, you know, it's kind of like Harry Potter, you know, you don't necessarily find the wand finds you. Well, you got to mesh with the wand, so you got to mesh with that thing. So I've got a clicker on here. Again, it clicks off at 28 1/4 inches. I just made my own puff balls. There's plenty of videos on doing this. I can do one too. I might do one down the road here. We're going to do a little bit on setup too, as far as like tuning and arrow tuning and whatnot. But anyway, I just wanted to say it one more time, what an incredibly beautiful bow this is. The other thing is the grip. Coming back to the grip, let's not forget that as far as recurves, longbows, that kind of thing. If you notice, it's a very, if you can't really tell, it's a very skinny grip, Okay, even with this deerskin leather wrap on there, it's a very skinny grip. And over here, there's not a lot of it's kind of what's described as longbow-ish. Okay, again, lots of different types of longbows now. They've got kind of pistol grip or locator grips for them, but in general, like an ASL bow, American Semi Longbow, D-shaped hill bow, it's kind of like holding a brick. Now, I've shot a Bear Montana. Okay, I don't like it. I'm sorry. Lots of people love it. Lots of people can shoot it very well. I can't. I don't like the grip. I don't like that. The meat of my hand kind of goes up onto the shelf. Kind of squishes up there. It's just not very repeatable for me. I like a very, dare I say it, compound-like grip where it's flat here. Now this one, I know lots of coaches and everything are gonna roll their eyes at this, but for me, I need to have not necessarily a death grip, but I need to hold it like I mean it. Okay, not this like bunk and let the thing just do whatever and roll around and hang out on your wrist or whatever with a wrist strap. I can't do that. I need to actually like hold on to the thing, and when I draw like that, and I need to be very, very solid with this. The leather wrap helps tremendously. This is not a bow that I'm going to modify. My Grizzly, and then I have a Kodiak Magnum that's in not rough shape, but not in great shape. And those I don't mind sanding on. I have no problem, taking a sander or rasp or whatever to this thing to make it fit my hand and lock it in there. And it's just, no question that this is the way it's supposed to fit in my hand every time. It's repeatable. This one I have to work at it a little bit, but you know what? When you're looking at a bow this gorgeous, you know what? I'll work on it. I'll work on this relationship all day. Yeah. One more kind of look at how just beautiful that they've done the work. The finish work is kind of custom grade almost from a major manufacturer. If you want to find out more about these, I'll have a link where you can go buy your own. And certainly, like I said, check out Jeff Cavanaugh's channel. He has a really good review on the 59 Kodiak. There's not a lot of other reviews out there. There's short little tiny clips, but there's not a lot of good reviews out there that kind of really get into detail about this thing and how well it shoots. So next time you're going to see, I'm actually going to go. I'll be at the range, and we'll do the obligatory, 5 or 10 shots or whatever from 10 yards, 20 yards, and I can sit there and brag and pretend that I actually got all those shots in a circle this big on the first take. So anyway, thank you for tuning in to Bow Hunting Soul. And when I actually figure out how to splice little clips into there, I will splice the shooting clip in before this. So thanks a lot. Please subscribe, tell a friend, and see you next time. All right, guys, here we are at the archery range. It's really the next morning. Just wanted to take a few shots. Going to do a bear shaft, and we're going to do a fletch shaft. I've got a Solway quiver on here. I'll do a review on that one later. This is a 500 spine, 30.5 inch, with a 100 grain brass insert and a 200 grain tip. So we're going to take a few shots. I'm actually going to shoot over here at 15 yards, and then I'll shoot at 20 yards. And you'll see how nice the bear shafts fly. You see how nice everything else flies. And kind of by a highway over here, so I apologize for some of the noise, but you'll get an idea of how quiet this bow is. So here's the range right here, and we're going to move this over like this. And then let's see here. And here we go. I hit shafts. I don't know if you can see that. We'll go in there. I actually busted a knock yesterday. Not that I'm any kind of special awesome archer. I just got unlucky by busting a knock. But here we go again. I'm actually going to do this so you can see the flight as well after those three. Watch, here's where I'm going to screw up. I mean, just super quiet. And this is 15 yards. And there you have it. So here we go. I actually did do this on the first take, which I didn't think I was going to be able to do. That's pretty neat. So here we go. We've got a pretty nice group going there. I would call that. Well, I mean, that's, you know, here's my hand, like this, right? And the bear shaft is this one right here. So that one flew just like my other ones. I have a tendency to kind of shoot a little bit to the left sometimes. I got to really concentrate. I was kind of shooting very quickly, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So once again, this is just a tremendous bow. I highly recommend that you go and at least like test shoot one of these if you can. If you want to make it to one of these traditional rendezvous or shoots or whatever, you know, someone might have one of these. It's just a beautiful bow, and well, I really hope you pick one up. And thank you for tuning in to Bow Hunting Soul. Subscribe, like, and share. Thanks.